Goeiedag, hoe gaan dit? My name is Wildkard. Thank you for watching the Wildkard Rugby Show. Like, comment, and subscribe. And yes, you are here today because you just witnessed the worst refereeing since Mike Adamson. Ironically, another Scottish referee, Sam Groovewright, was at the URC Semifinal between the Bulls and the Leinster. And you know, for me, if you watch the channel for a long time, you know that I've grown to learn to accept bad refereeing. Because it's 50-50, right? Sometimes the referee is just gonna say, hey, you're wasting time, and it's a penalty reversed for the All Blacks. That just happens. And you just gotta suck it up like a real man and move on with it, right? But that's just one incident out of the whole 80 minutes. So it's not completely, right, out of the question that a call could go against you in an 80-minute game. But this game, my goodness, I have never felt so, I don't even know how to describe it, like so disgusted. So, the referee's performance was so disgraceful. I was genuinely getting angry. And I'm a neutral. I don't even watch the Bulls play. You guys know, the only South African team that I actually support in a semi-fashion is the Stormers, right? And I was genuinely getting angry watching this game because how bad the referee was. My goodness. I mean, it was absurd. Like, some of these calls were absurd. And I don't know how they could even possibly justify the decisions, right? So, Leinster was doing this thing throughout the game, holding players in the ruck, right? You know, sometimes they can get with the cheeky, you know, holding onto the player that wouldn't let them get out. You see that a lot. There was a try that was disallowed when one of the Leinster player was literally pushing Marco van Staden out of the way to prevent him from getting into the ruck at the breakdown in an offside position. And Marco van Staden basically had to tackle him to get him out of the way. And a try was scored later on. And the referee called the try disallowed against van Staden. I mean, my God, that was bad, right? And then the extremely biased, bad referee continued to compound. There was a play where one of the players was on the ground. I think it was McCarthy. He was literally reaching up, sitting on the ground, reaching up, pulling the halfback into the ruck, and the referee's like, yep, that's fine with me. I haven't seen something this obviously infringement for a very long time. He was, my goodness. And then, right, there was another one where a Leinster player ran into their own player, into a defender, and the referee said, that's fine. Nothing to see here. It didn't affect the tackler. I mean, what? He literally got over the advantage line because of the shielding from his own teammates, and the referee's like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine with me. It was just absurd, right? And here's something that I think a lot of people probably didn't pick up, but the commentary was talking about it, and it's the scrummaging. My God, this referee was bad. I had to take a screenshot, and oh yeah, so this one here is the running into his own player. Nothing to see here, guys. It's just another player that's in front of the ball carrier. No, nothing to see here. But this, like so many scrums, Leinster pull the scrum down deliberately under pressure. And you can see right here, this is the hand of Andrew Porter. This is actually not his elbow. His elbow is blocked by the foot. This is the hand from the number 6. This is the hand of Andrew Porter. He's going under. You can see his body position, right? He's going under. He's pulling the scrum down. And the ref, he collapsed so many times because of this. You can just go watch it. That the clear indicator is arm pointing downwards. You have to keep your elbow up. And so many times the scrum went down. And the referee just goes, play on. Get the ball out and play on. It was so bad. It was so bad and absurd. I was just like, what is going on? Is this even rugby I'm watching at this point? It was just unbelievable. And outside of that, I can't tell you how many times, right, the referee said, no knock on, play on. What? How many times do you have to say that in this game? If every time the referee said, when the Leinster's running the ball, and he said, no knock on, play on, and I had a shot of alcohol, I will be gone before halftime, right? I will be way gone. I mean, it was absurd. Absurd. What is going on with these referees? I have no freaking idea. And yeah, let me know your thoughts about referees. Let's move on. Let's enough talk about Mike Adamson Jr. Let's talk about the greatest player on the field tonight. That was Willie LaRue. Like I said, I don't usually watch the Bulls play, and I was so impressed by. Oh, by the way, the Willie LaRue was taken out with a late shot, and the Bulls were like, don't have a playmaker anymore. So yes, let's just forget about that. Let's just move on. I said we'll move on from the referee. You can let me know what your complaints down in the comments, right? So Willie LaRue was so impressive for me today because I haven't watched, Bulls play for a long time. I've seen like highlights on Instagram, but man, that kicking game was absolutely next level. I haven't seen something this good. I don't even know ever something so good at, strategically with those kicking. It was just beautiful to watch. Absolutely beautiful to watch. So Willie LaRue would do this thing, right? He would do a lot of these high balls from his own 10 meters. It's just the 40-meter line, the 10-meter line, into the opposition 10. So just inside his half, into the opposition, between the 10-meter line and the 22-meter. So it's about like a 20-meter kick. He would do this a few times to bait the defender to come forward. And then once the fullback comes forward to try to anticipating another high ball, he puts it down deep for 50-22. Yeah, and then if he doesn't go for the 50-22, they will go for they try to park the ball inside your goal line to force you to ground the ball for a goal line dropout, which puts you around 40 meters out from the try line in a great position in attack and just keeping you pinned inside your half. And this kicking game was absolutely world class. Absolutely world class. I have not seen a team being able to execute, being able to manipulate the fullback so beautifully as Willie LaRue has showed to me this. I'm sure he's probably been doing the whole season, but I haven't seen, like I said, I don't watch the Bulls, but that was super impressive. Same with Johan Huijsen, his ability to park the ball. So Willie LaRue targets the left-hand side, Huijsen targets on the right-hand side, and his ability to just park the ball just inside your goal line, forcing you to a goal line dropout was just so good. So good, and it was just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. This is undoubtedly the mastermind idea of, Jake White, one of the greatest Springbok head coaches ever, right? Rugby World Cup winner with Sir Eddie. But yeah, I mean, it was just brilliant stuff. And outside of the great kicking game, the Bulls really had to dig deep late in the second half. Just absolute gutsy performance in that beautiful defense to hold the Leinster out. And how many times has the Bulls got the jackal and the referee says no lift? I don't know. If I had a drink every time that call was made, I would have been in hospital by now, right? And the next one is the high ball was really good. The scrummaging I've already talked about was absolutely dominant. I was so surprised how good Steenkamp and what's his name, Wilco Low was able to dominate world-class test cap scrum against Andrew Porter and Ty Furlong. Ty Furlong was under the pumps right from the first scrum. I can tell he was going to go down. And there was one tight head because the scrum was under pressure and the ball got knocked forward to the Bull side, which was just, that's just better than scoring a try for a prop there. And outside of that, the Leinster's attack really lacked a little bit of ideas. The only person that was able to get over the vantage line consistently was James Lowe. Every time he got the ball, he was dangerous, and Leinster just really didn't utilize that to the maximum effect, in my opinion. And the Leinster's, usually their attack was much faster in terms of getting over the vantage line, and they weren't able to build that fast attacking speed like they normally, from my memory, able to against the Rush defense, the extremely good defense from the Bulls team. So really, really well done. Another just mastercraft strategy out of Jake White for this game. And I'm so glad that Bulls didn't lose this one, because it would have been a travesty and a tragedy and an absolute cheat for the Bulls to lose this one because of the insurmountable amount of bad referee calls against the Bulls for the entire game. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the stats of the game. So yes, there was 3 tries to 2, and there was a couple drop goal attempts by Hues, and I think there was one where they were putting the ball into the like I said, into the goal line, forcing for a goal line dropout. And Huesen just went up, going for a drop goal, and he almost landed one early in the game, but he got charged down one in the second half. But yeah, that's just that's a very South African style of strategy, and I think that could be something that really could have if they had a better drop goal kicker. If they had a drop goal kicker, that could have probably yielded a lot of points for the Bulls. 112 carries for the Bulls, 132 for Leinster. So Leinster had a lot of opportunities to get themselves forward, but they were not able to get over the advantage line because of good defense. Turnovers lost, 13 against the Bulls, 12 against Leinster. 4 turnovers, 1 for the Bulls, 2 against Leinster. And yeah, look at the territory that's been played. Most of the times between the 10 and the 22 for the Bulls, and that is due to in the Leinster. That is literally where the kicking goes from this area into this area for the Bulls. Yeah, so that you can see that from the stats. 55% territory for the Bulls, 45 for Leinster. Possession, a lot of possession is played in the Leinster side. Like I said, this is literally where the kicking kind of occurs. And 50 much more even for Leinster's attack. The Bulls is able to play on the right areas they wanted for most of the game. Scrum, this is something that Leinster will be. I think that the national team will have a bit of Andy Farrell have a look at this and really have a bit scratch of his head on what he's gonna do going to the July tour. 67% success rate on your scrum, and that's just on your own feet. And plenty of scrums. There was 1 turnover as well. The Bulls scrums, I thought that, like I said, the referee was much tougher on the Bulls on the scrummaging than the Leinster. I thought was way more dominant, hands down, way more dominant over Leinster's side, despite the stats suggest. The post-contact meters, Leinster had 236, Bulls had 218. 8 line breaks for the Bulls, so the Bulls actually had better line breaks out of 6 for Leinster. Penalties conceded, here's probably the big difference here. Bulls conceded 8 penalties that could have, like I said, the referee could have cost them the game. Just with some of the calls, only 4 penalties conceded against Leinster. My God, holding players in the ruck is on the ground, reaching out and pulling the halfback into the ruck. My God, it's just, anyway, we're past that now, moving on. 152 tackles for the Bulls, 22 missed tackles, 108 tackles for Leinster, 23 missed tackles. The Bulls has a much better completion rate in their tackle count. And here's the part where the Bulls really shine. When Willie LaRue came off the field, you can see that the Bulls' attacking threat was completely out. I hope he's okay to play the finals, because it would be a travesty if he couldn't play. And he was just unbelievable. 43 kicks for the Bulls, 37 for Leinster. Overwhelmingly dominant and in controlling in that kicking game. And unbelievable, amazing, something that I thoroughly enjoyed for this game. So yeah, let's quickly go through some of the highlights from the game for recap. And so from the get-go, the game was kind of, the game was kind of slow. Like, the kicking game was going really well for the Bulls, was able to get much deeper out of their kicks. So 11 minutes of the game, there was a kick inside the dead ball area. Leinster had to do a goal line dropout, and Huisen went for the drop goal. And I was like, couldn't quite get there. But a few minutes later, there was a there was a try for the Bulls. Some nice, so the Bulls were doing a lot of these crossfield kicks from Willie LaRue. I thought was probably a little bit unnecessary, but I kind of understand what they try and go for, just to really confuse the defense a lot, to make those longer kicks more effective. But a lot of these crossfield kicks weren't that effective, and it just just a bit of unnecessary risk. But hey, this time they did good hands. Willie LaRue, a nice pass. Bulls ran down the sideline. I think it was JP Peterson's Jr. ran down the side, scored a try, and then they went back to look. The Leinster player literally stuck his arm out and blocked Van Staden from going to ruck, and Van Staden, out of frustration, had to tackle him. And it was ruled tackle without the ball. No try. Anyway, moving on. 20 minutes into the game, there was a penalty to Leinster against the Bulls for not releasing the player. The player wasn't even the tackler. He was the second player in the breakdown, went for the ball, and the referee said he was not releasing. I mean, he was not the tackler. But yeah, really just unbelievably terrible call. But the kick was missed. 22 minutes into the game, JP Peterson Jr. got a yellow card. Yeah, he would have sent off for deliberate knock-on. He did touch the ball, and I thought that was fair enough. And this has led to an overlap. So Leinster, a few phases later, pounding the ball. Just good hands into the... so they went center field, crash ball. Then switched the ball back to the blind side. James Lowe into the corner. 7 points to nil for Leinster. And yeah, it wasn't looking good with the yellow card in the bin. 28 minutes to get the magnificent kicking from Billy LaRue. Yielded a 50-22, just being able to manipulate where the kicking was going to go and getting that fullback to guess where it's going to go and overextending that forward coverage, getting that 50-22, just absolutely beautiful play from Billy LaRue. And then after the 50-22, the Bulls crashed the ball, despite having played in the bin, crashing the ball, and they got really close to trial and wasn't going forward, and a nice angle from Johan Huessen, bang, punched through for the try, flat ball from the halfback, 7 points apiece. A few minutes later on the, when was this? 40, just before half time, in fact, there was a scrum, and the Bulls just the first scrum went down. Should have already been a penalty. They had a reset. Bulls just absolutely demolished the Leinster scrum, and they went for the goal. Huessen kicked this one, 10 points to 7. Second half, 42 minutes into the game. Bulls, again, just some good, smooth attack, got inside the Leinster half, and just good hands down the right-hand side on the win, and it was JP Peterson Jr., it was someone else, I think it was Billy LaRue, just kicked the ball down the field, and just a little grubber kick behind, and JP Peterson Jr. scooped it up, pulled the ball down, try time, 17 points to 7 for the Bulls. And 46 minutes again, huge tight head win for the Bulls, and I think all the forwards are getting a meat pie after the game. 49 minutes in the game, there was a offside against what do you call it? It was a offside against the Bulls. Leinster was building pressure inside the Bulls 22. The penalty, they couldn't get through, so they take a tap. And then the play, I think it was Sheehan, got pretty close. Was it Sheehan? And then maybe it was McCarthy. And then there was a short crash ball to Doris, who was rammed in by his teammates from behind, just straight up. Yeah, brutal 3-on-1 strength, rammed him in for the try. 17 points to 14. McCarthy, 52 minutes in, sitting on the ground, holding the halfback, putting him into the ruck. Apparently it was okay, but according to the referee, 58 minutes of the game, there was an offside against number 8 by the Bulls. What was his name? Anyway, he had a pretty difficult name to pronounce anyway. I'm not going to try. So he was offside, and it was apparently caught by the TMO. I thought, from the replay, I really couldn't tell that it was offside, but apparently he was. So Leinster kicked this one, 17 points apiece. 60 minutes into the game, Leinster was penalised for not. So they again, it was McCarthy. He sacked the line out the maul, and then he was just caught himself on the wrong side. Was still pushing the ball back despite on the wrong side. Got penalised for that, and Huessen kicked this one, 20 points to 17. 64 minutes into the game, again a penalty against the Bulls for playing the ball on the ground, and this was right after this utter bull, right, when they had a player blocking their own runner. And so there was Akker van der Merwe, Duhan van der Merwe's brother, was on the ground, playing the ball on the ground, got a penalty, given away a penalty, 20 points apiece, and now it's looking really scary. And 6 minutes of the game, there was a late shot on Billy LaRue here before this as well. And it was, so without the playmaker, like Billy LaRue, the Bulls really looking a bit out of ideas, to be honest. I was really worried. And the Bulls was going nowhere. I think it was Huessen put up a high ball, and JP Peterson Jr. showed that he's truly the son of JP Peterson. Jumped up in the air with one hand, scooped the ball out of the air from the Leinster fullback. What's his name? The guy with the red hair. Anyway, he scooped out the ball from the. I wouldn't know it was a fullback. That was a reserve fly half. Scooped up the ball and ran in, jumped in for the tries. And I was like, dude, ran in closer to the goalpost. What are you doing? He was too excited. He just jumped in. And yeah, it was not, he could have easily ran in for a better angle. So Huijsen missed the kick. And I was like, no, this was not looking good. But hey, luckily that didn't come back to hurt the game. After this, the Bulls had to put on some really, really good defense to diffuse a really high pressure from Leinster. And finally, it was, yeah, there was a late shot, 74 minutes onto, what's his name? Onto Huijsen. I mean, again, it's McCarthy. He went in with his hand up. After the ball was, he was charging down the ball. After the ball was kicked, he just like put his hand down and just put a shot on me anyway. Like if you're actually charging down, you should just be having your hand down the whole way, right? Instead of bringing your hand down and then literally putting a tackle on the person after the ball has been kicked. I thought that should have been a penalty. But anyway, 77 minutes in the game, there was a late wrap. Almost looked like a coat hanger by Jack Conan on Huijsen. And there was no contact to the head. It was just a tiny bit on the neck. So no yellow card. And Huijsen tried to kick a 60-meter penalty. Got the target, not quite long enough. And but yeah, Leinster had to run the ball out of their own, essentially from the dead ball line. Not quite able to get there. Was ball turned over a few phases later, and the game was over, and the Bulls won the game. So yeah, was quite exciting game, to be honest, despite the referee, the terrible refereeing. And yeah, I really enjoyed watching this game. I'm really glad the Bulls won the game. So yeah, let me know your thoughts, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and is the referee always this bad in the URC? Because I really don't watch these. And let me know your thoughts. And thanks for watching. Danke. Donkey.